The orbital station's training deck hummed with the usual cacophony of clashing steel and grunting combatants. Commander Vex of the Krylonian Empire stood at the center ring, his crimson scales gleaming under the harsh fluorescent lights. He stretched his 4 arms in an elaborate display, each muscular limb rippling with barely contained power. "The problem with you humans," Vex announced loudly, his voice carrying across the entire facility, "is that you're simply too slow. My people have reflexes 3 times faster than yours. It's basic biology." The other trainees paused their sparring sessions, turning to watch the spectacle. Vex had been insufferable since joining the Interstellar Defense Coalition a month ago, constantly reminding everyone of his species' supposed superiority. His people had indeed conquered 12 systems before joining the Alliance, and he never let anyone forget it. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez stood in the corner, methodically wrapping tape around her knuckles. She had been listening to Vex's boasts for weeks now, each one more grandiose than the last. Her dark eyes remained fixed on her hands as she worked, her expression unreadable. "In fact," Vex continued, warming to his audience, "I'd wager that none of you could land a single blow on me in hand-to-hand combat. My neural pathways process threats before you primitive mammals even register movement. Is that an official challenge?" Maya's voice cut through the tension like a blade through silk. She stepped into the light, rolling her shoulders casually. Vex's triple-lidded eyes focused on her, and his mandibles clicked in what passed for a Krylonian smile. The little human wants to test herself against superior evolution. How delightful. He turned to the gathered crowd. "This will serve as an excellent demonstration." The training instructor, a grizzled veteran named Peterson, raised an eyebrow but stepped forward to officiate. "Standard coalition rules. First person on the ground for a 3-count loses. Agreed?" "Agreed," Vex said immediately, already moving toward the center mat. Maya simply nodded, her face still betraying nothing. They faced each other across the regulation circle. Vex towered over Maya by at least 2 feet, his bulk easily triple her mass. He settled into a traditional Krylonian combat stance, all 4 arms positioned at different heights to create an impenetrable defense. "Whenever you're ready to embarrass yourself, human," Vex taunted. Peterson raised his hand. "Begin." What happened next would be debated in the station's mess hall for months to come. Most witnesses would swear they saw nothing but a blur. Vex's confident expression had barely begun forming when Maya moved. She didn't rush forward with the clumsy aggression Vex expected. Instead, she took a single, calculated step. Her right foot swept low, impossibly fast, hooking behind Vex's leading leg. Simultaneously, her palm struck his center mass with surgical precision, targeting the exact point where Krylonian balance receptors clustered. Vex's vaunted reflexes triggered, but they fired signals to muscles that were already falling. His 4 arms flailed uselessly, grasping at air. The mighty commander of a warrior race crashed onto the mat with a resounding thud that echoed through the silent training deck. Peterson's count seemed to take an eternity. 1, 2, 3. Maya stepped back, already unwrapping her hand tape as if nothing significant had occurred. Vex lay on his back, his triple-lidded eyes blinking rapidly in confusion, trying to process what had just happened. "You know what the real problem with the Krylonians is?" Maya said quietly, just loud enough for Vex to hear as she walked past him. "You talk about reflexes, but you've never learned the difference between speed and timing. We studied your species for 6 months before you joined the coalition. Every weakness, every biological quirk, every overconfident assumption you'd make." She paused at the edge of the mat, finally looking back at him. "That's what makes humans dangerous, Commander. We do our homework." The training deck erupted in laughter and cheers as Maya disappeared into the locker room. Vex remained on the mat for a moment longer, staring at the ceiling, his pride bruised far more severely than his body. For the first time since joining the coalition, he had learned a valuable lesson about the species he'd so casually dismissed. In the game of evolution, adaptation always beats raw power.